Guys, welcome to the regular podcast. We have already been saying some pretty uncalled for things. Lisa's had to sit by and watch.
That's right.
Yes.
Lisa's perfect. She said nothing wrong.
Well, I didn't get a chance to say much of anything,
Yeah.
but
That's how it's supposed to be.
That's right. Wow.
oh yeah.
You know, you can tell Caitlin's out of town.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Because you can't say
outnumbered.
stuff like that when she's in town. Because then I get beat, and then he would too.
mean-
I would have got beat on behalf of Eric.
Assuming
Yeah.
you,
She
you
might watch
cut
it.
out the first part of our conversation, no, the audience isn't going to understand that.
That's true. You won't know. Guys, let me introduce you. We already kind of have. This is Eric and Lisa Pearson, long-standing members of Risen King.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Like 9 months?
No,
Not
we
quite.
came in September.
So 6 months. 6-monthers,
September.
which really in the perspective right now of Risen King is basically a veteran
Pretty good
You know.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
as
We've
far
been
as,
around for 10 years here in Reading.
Yeah.
So
And-
we know a lot of the people that come here.
And you have a lot of all your kids come that live in town,
Yep.
Yeah,
which is awesome. You want to say anything about them, or
they're amazing.
They are amazing.
they've been well parented on their mother's side?
1, 2, 3,
It's a good balance.
4, 5, 6 amazing grandchildren here in town. And yeah,
It's awesome.
just a whole bunch of.
Well, and you guys are leading a Grow Team. Here's the shameless plug for Grow Teams. If you
That's right.
haven't signed up, get them signed up. They are filling
That's
up,
right.
actually. Tell them about your Grow Team quick.
Yeah, so we are going to be doing a book called Kingdom Come by Johnny Enlow, and it's a real easy read. We will provide it for you, so you don't even have to buy it.
Wow, you guys are buying registrants.
Yeah, they're really expensive. I think these books are like $200 or $300 a piece.
Wow, look at the generosity. It's amazing.
Uh-huh.
No. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be great. It's talking about living kingdom lives. So in every facet of life.
It's awesome. Lisa, anything to add to the Grow Team thoughts?
Grow team. No, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We're anxious to get to know some more people and have
Yeah.
some great discussions over some important topics. So.
Yeah, and with coffee mugs.
And with coffee.
We
mugs.
discovered they have lots of coffee
We have
mugs. They
coffee
only use
mugs.
3, and the Risen King one is never used in their home. So
We will have decaf.
free. Yeah, there you go. They will have
Cool.
decaf. Well, this morning or today, when people actually watch this, it's probably not going to be morning, since we won't post it till the afternoon, anyways. Talking about Sunday, love, and 1 Corinthians 13. Love to hear your strong disagreements and your strong agreements with Sunday morning and the message. I know you guys were there.
We were.
I can't remember what service you went to.
I'm
I
trying to
don't
remember
can
what I said on the way home.
Yeah, that's what we need to know.
That's right.
What did you say when
in
you
the
were
car.
talking
That's
to Lisa?
what you really think, right?
That's what you really think. That's right.
Lisa has
Well,
it.
and just as a refresher, the concept of, specifically, we were in 1 Corinthians 13:7, where it talks about those 4, what really are pretty weighty statements, right? Of love always hopes, it always protects, it always trusts, and it always perseveres. I normally feel like whenever I've preached that, even myself or heard it, you don't really set on verse 7. It's kind of like verse 6 and 8 are the big ones, and then you skate past 7 pretty quickly. And those ones actually feel pretty big to me when you really dive into what that means to always trust, hope, persevere. I think what would be really great is even just to hear from your guys' perspective of how you've seen the necessity to do that in family. Because I did in both services kind of pause and felt the Lord kind of speak into, like, do an evaluation of this with family. You guys have a big family. You have kids. You have now, sons and daughters-in-law, right? You have a son-in-law and then daughters-in-law, and then you have grandkids. Obviously, there's no way you could live your life this point without disappointment and having to trust when you didn't want to trust, and love when you didn't want to love, and protect when you felt like maybe they needed to learn a lesson rather than be protected, right? Like I'd love to hear how, any of those have landed, or how you guys have seen those in your family dynamics.
Yeah. Well, it really actually starts with Lisa and I. So when you look at our marriage, that's really sort of, it's not a rule. It's a blessing to have a marriage where you always protect, always trust, always hope. So that really sets the stage for the family. Actually,
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, it really starts at the very beginning. In our relationship is that way, and I would say that our relationship is a very relaxed relationship. We don't go through every day with all these high level expectations of each other.
Mm,
That's just not how we're supposed to live, right?
yeah, it's great.
So,
That's true.
you got anything added?
No, I agree with that. Yeah, Eric's done a good job of being a very loving husband, and we've laid the groundwork for what that kind of relationship should look like. And the kids, I'm trying to remember where we learned it, but in a marriage relationship, that it's so important for the husband and wife to have a solid, loving relationship, and have the relationship not be centered on the kids.
Yeah.
You do focus on kids. They need a lot of love and nurture, but they're on the outside. So when it's time for them to go and do their
That's
own
right.
thing, it doesn't destroy.
You also have to ignore them sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
100%.
That's true.
I think what comes to mind is like when we were raising our kids, and you're always raising your kids.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you're always involved with your kids' lives until you're gone. But we really wanted to create an atmosphere where they were safe, right?
Yeah.
Where they felt safe to make the mistakes, to say the things that they shouldn't, to do that. It wasn't a household of, hey, if you do something, you always have to be on your guard because you're going to be smacked for doing it. It's like,
Yeah, it's
you
good.
really want to create a safe environment for, and I think it's like the church is that way. So I want to have a safe environment where, hey, I can make mistakes. I can come to my friends, or in our case, in the family, I can come to my parents and I can say, hey, I've been drinking. Cool. I'm not too concerned about the drinking part, but let's talk about what it is that's making you make those kind of decisions.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's like they just need to be able to be free to just be themselves.
Yeah.
Make the stupid decisions and do the dumb things, and it really, and it kind of goes all the way. It doesn't really matter what it is.
Yeah.
It's sex, whatever. It does not matter what it is. So
Yeah.
I think, you really, in the church that's, I think, what that verse is saying, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not saying you don't correct. It doesn't say that you don't have
Correct. Right.
disagreements and
Yep.
Hard conversations,
I mean,
Yeah.
expectations.
you talked about loving people that only Jesus can help you love, which
Yep.
spoke to me a lot.
Do you love me more now?
Like people.
Do you love me
I
more now?
realized that
Do you love
After
him
you
more?
that's what I was
realize-
going to say. I realized that I actually can love Cole.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Man, I preached that message to get Eric's love, so I'm so glad that it worked out right.
Well, you got Jesus' love. You didn't get mine.
You're obligated to do
Yeah,
so.
he's doing it.
That's what I say. I joke with people. I'm like, I'm vocationally obligated to love you, so I do.
Yeah. But no, seriously, there are people in my life that I can't stand.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just saying. And it's like, in fact, Monday, 2 days ago, I was sitting at my workstation and I was like, Lord, I hate that guy. Lisa can attest to this. And it's like, dang, Cole.
Oh my gosh, I'm crying.
A true
We
story.
should say it isn't one of our children.
No,
Just,
this
for
has
the
nothing to
record.
do with family. Well, it does. It has to
Cole.
do with the church family, but and it isn't anybody in Risen King. So.
Keep going. I want to hear.
No, but
That's
it's
as
like,
far as we got.
okay,
No,
Lord,
just-
I really need to love. You need to help me love this guy, and it
And he showed
pretty
you
much
how-
immediate.
He actually showed you how.
He did,
Gave
Wow.
you
and
an
he
assignment.
saved my butt by not having an email go through that I was sending.
That's actually true.
That's a very
It disappeared.
There you go.
It literally
Did it
disappeared
really?
off
So you
my
sent the email.
I sent it
Uh-huh.
and it didn't go through. Wow. And then he convicted me. Well, actually, he convicted me through Cole
Hey,
speaking
Good
and
job,
saying,
Cole.
"Dang it, I gotta love that guy."
it just sucks.
I mean, I am
Sometimes.
It does.
not. I am not like this guy that's gonna go, "Oh, I just love you so much," and if I don't, it's like you're an idiot,
Yeah.
And so I have to really go to the Lord and say, "I need help."
Yeah.
Lisa is much
I'm more the safe place.
Yeah.
like
Well, and you're way more likable. You're much
Aw,
more preferable
thanks.
to be around. That makes
true.
sense.
100%.
Maybe I'm not as honest. Maybe that would be it.
Well,
No, I'm pretty
No,
honest.
you are. You
let
are.
me ask you guys
Genuine.
this. I want to go back to the kid thing because I think what
Yeah.
you said's really good. How do you self-coach yourself to respond that way with your kids? Because I think it's hard for a lot of people to try to care more about the why than the what.
Oh, exactly.
Right? Like that's a challenge for a lot of people. There's with my kids, the younger ones, like the what is basically almost always just fighting right now.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I don't care about the why. Go to your room. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
you child,
Yeah.
stop saying these things that you're saying. My kids aren't. Well, I guess Caleb's in high school. I think he's pretty aware of stuff. But like, I have to intentionally slow myself down to care about the why, because my natural response is to address the what.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to. Like, have you guys always been that way? Was that easy for you, or did you have to kind of coach yourself into that?
That's a good question.
Well, I would say Lisa needs to answer this bit, but Lisa was a stay-at-home
On
mom.
that note, Eric will answer it.
yeah.
No, I'm just going to intro. I'm going to intro this,
needs
and
to
Lisa's
answer
going to take
what?
it. But Lisa was a stay-at-home
Thank you.
mom, so she was around the kids 24/7.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Lisa imparted to the kids is to love and respect one another. So I'm going to let you go from there, please.
Yeah, that's actually true. It's part of how I'm wired, is to be able to put myself in somebody else's shoes and feel what you're feeling. And that was something I really worked hard on with the kids, is to try to see something from someone else's point of view.
Yeah.
And to always give the other person the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
Assume that they mean well until they
Yes.
prove that they don't.
100%.
And just teach each other. I mean, the things that were important to me, to us as parents, was you don't have to agree with me and Dad, but you do have to show respect.
That's great.
You do have to respect. We can disagree and argue and have different ideas, but it has to look respectful. And the way you treat each other has to be kind.
Yeah.
Kindness is a really high value for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So put yourself
Really
in
good.
the other person's shoes, figure out, just try to find some common ground.
Yeah.
And even in their dealings with us, it's so much. Yeah, there was discipline, and there's certain things that I absolutely wouldn't put up with. Disrespect and clonking each other. It's
Yeah.
like, you can't be
Yeah, I mean, you had
unkind.
boys too. Those boys were clunking each other. I
You know?
guarantee it.
Yeah, it's like, that's
they
why
had
they
their
went and played
thing.
football. These
Yeah,
were
that's
these
right.
were important. Sports were important, but
Yep.
that's kind
great.
of, I was the covering and the safe place and the help you think through your feelings. And
Yeah.
I don't know, we were on the fly. We had 5 kids in 7 years. It was a zoo.
Yeah,
So
I couldn't believe it. The things that I
mean-
went through that.
I mean, those pregnancies must have been so hard for you, Eric.
yeah,
tell ya.
they were
Wow.
rough. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He's really a survivor.
I just lost those years. No.
Oh my gosh.
But that's so true though. But Lisa was so good at that, and that was so we really partnered.
Yeah.
because I was the guy that was like, yeah, just punch him in the face,
I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes
and so
there was
we
a balance.
Really balanced each other out.
I
well.
would say one thing that, well, there's many things, but one thing that Eric was really, really good at was recognizing, each kid's particular gift mix or bent or what
Yeah.
they, where they needed to be pushed and what direction they should be going. He
That's
was
awesome.
he still is really
Yeah,
good at
it's
that.
it's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
You have these kids. Every one of them's different. Not all your kids are the same. Don't treat them that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
But yeah, but what Lisa kind of was, what she definitely was embodying in all of that was that verse. Love always.
Absolutely.
It was that. That's
100%.
what kindness is,
Yes.
right?
It's really good.
So like the church needs to be
That.
in this place of like, hey, it's safe.
Yes.
Because we care about certain things most.
Yep.
And it's not what most people think you should care about.
Come on, Eric. That's it. That's
Right?
it.
It's like, oh, you should care about this, that. I grew up in a pretty conservative, legalistic home,
Yeah.
I love my parents. Bless you guys. But, if you smoked, you probably weren't saved.
Yeah. Right.
It's
Can't
like,
be-
wait a minute, Mom. You
you
don't
can't
know that
smoke
that guy's
and
not
be
saved.
100%.
Like, oh, he probably drinks a beer. He's probably not saved. It's like, well, wait a minute. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, but we actually raised our kids differently.
Yeah.
And we had a very short list of what was important.
And you guys have a very joyful bunch.
We did.
Like, they have fun together. Yeah. They are fun. Like,
they're hilarious.
Even the grandkids just just love being with the family. You can tell, like, they get a lot of identity with hanging with the crew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just really awesome. You guys are what we want to be one day.
Yeah.
Well, that's the goal, is to make everybody like us.
Yeah, right. So you are a good Christian then.
That's
perfect.
Right. And I don't.
It turned out okay. And you don't smoke.
No.
And you don't smoke. You do drink a little bit, though.
Well, like a fish.
Yeah.
No, I do not. I never really liked it.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
I warned you. I did.
It's actually, people want to make it way too complicated.
Yes, they do.
And I'm like, guys, it's not that complicated. I have people, well, how do you guys have such a great marriage? It's like, because I don't think about it every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
There's just too many things going
like
on.
Each other.
Let's just take it back a notch and just love each other, and it'll be good. And,
that's so good.
And so I, people would say, well, it's kind of I had one guy tell me, that seems like kind of a lazy way to live. It's like, hey, it's called faith. God's in control.
Yeah, man.
He's doing this.
Yep.
Like, Lisa's God's, not mine.
Yep.
We're together, but our kids are his.
It's awesome.
Our grandkids are his. He's got this. He's good. He can actually do this.
And I think that's a really good way to settle for a second, Eric, because that's probably one of the things, we were talking about it a bit more Monday about the message and unpacking it a bit. I think it was with Brecklin. One of when I really go back and unlayer and the whys of, okay, so why would I hold something over somebody? Why would I cause, really, if it gets down to it, I'm not trusting God to protect me.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. I'm self-protecting.
Right.
Like for me to just use the real hard one there. I mean, there's a lot of them, but the real hard one is trust, always trust. Yeah. I think that's a big one. I've even heard people coaching on, hey, don't trust them. Like Christians telling you not to trust people. Like what you said, Lisa, of giving the benefit of the doubt. I always try to do that the best that I can. Mm-hmm. But when you unpack it, why would I not trust? Well, it's because I believe in this person's ability to deter my destiny more than I do God's ability to protect it or to cover it. Mm-hmm. And it's not, again, I'm not making the statement that you should trust everybody all the time that's abusing you and hurting you.
Right.
I realize we're teaching a thought and a concept to kind of really help overcorrect a very unhealthy relational environment that I think we live in 2025.
I agree.
Where there's no trusting.
It's like, you're crossing my boundary. You're crossing my
You got to listen to the Holy Spirit. You got to let him lead you. And then you have to make adult decisions, even with what we're saying.
You got to use wisdom and discernment.
But there 100%. Is a truth to what you're saying, where the reason you can be safe here is because you trust God's ability to cover, to protect. Yeah. Like ultimately, she's in his hands, you're in his hands, your kids are in his hands.
The kids are in his hands. And I just a thought that hit me was, perfect love casts out fear. If you are parenting from a position of fear, you're fearing what they're going to get into. You're fearing what decisions they're going to make. You're fearing whether they're going to be safe on the road or anywhere else. And I remember several times, especially when they were little and we would leave for a weekend or something, the fear that something was going to happen to the kids would just overtake me and become just debilitating. And I realized that the Lord was saying, sweetheart, they're mine.
Yeah.
Give them back to me.
Come on.
That was the same when she left them with me.
Yes, same exact feeling. It was the Friday night party and home with dad.
That was probably more real, though.
Equal fear.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But if that's it's like, okay, they're yours. You've given them to us to train and to teach and to love, but ultimately, they're yours.
Yeah.
So don't come from an attitude of fear.
So on that trust thing, though, too, because what you're saying, and it's what I think what the verse is saying, it's like, it always trusts. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who does it always trust? I'm not, right? Like, do I trust God in the middle of this relationship?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trust, because he actually can work both sides of the equation, right? So it goes back to my Monday thing. I can't
Yep.
stand this guy, right?
Yep.
Do I trust God to actually work this out?
Come on.
I don't want to say in my favor. That's not right. But
In a healthy manner.
in a way that honors
Right.
everybody.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Because, and I think that is, to me, that's the big piece here. And even like you could go even another step. One of the things that we try to do the best that we can is honor.
Yeah.
Now, there's a fine line in the pastor church world for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to pamper egos.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, and then you get into the guest speaker world and all of that stuff, right? It's not really relatable to everybody that's listening, but that's the world that you live in. Yeah. And honor can then really quickly look like groveling because you have idolized somebody.
Right. Yep.
100%.
Right? So there's a fine line there. But one of the things I learned early on is by honoring God, I'm actually honoring the people he's put in front of me. Mm-hmm. And it does all flow back through. Am I making sure to honor God, love him, worship him with my lifestyle? And most often, 90% of the time, I think, and that's a completely made up statistic I just came up with as I said it. The best way I can worship God is by loving his people that are in front of me well. By being honorable in my interactions, by honoring the person I'm in front of, by asking the why rather than focusing on the what. Because that parenting approach is so applicable to every other area of life, right? Like when you are dealing with this jerk at work, there's a big why as to why he's the way he is.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There's
Absolutely.
a big why as to why people have the responses they have. And we very rarely slow down enough to give the benefit of the doubt, to ask the why. The answer to the why actually would change most of the time how we would respond to them.
Mm-hmm.
Often. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you got to get out of the fix it thing, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of things about certain people that I would love to fix,
Yeah.
but it's
Give me one that you'd like to fix
not
with
me.
me.
I'm perfect, but
Oh, yeah.
I don't need any fixing.
Yeah,
But-
none.
but
Right,
seriously
Lisa?
though, like,
He's
do I
almost
trust
there.
God?
I've
Almost
almost
there.
gotten
Like
there.
he's going to show you things about people. There's no question. They're true.
Well, and maybe it's not even the Lord showed him. You're just aware.
Yeah, you're aware.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
It's like, okay, I know this, but where does my trust like take over and
Yeah.
go? Even though these are obviously truths, maybe in this relationship or whatever, can I trust God to change that person's heart and my heart in this situation? Because at the end of the day, we really don't have any control over the other person.
That's it.
Zero.
Yep. Except for your wife. You can control her.
And he can woo people
Obviously.
any way he wants, right?
Yes.
Now, there's a response that people have to give to the Lord
Yeah, that's good.
individually. It's not, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But,
Yep.
do we trust in all of those situations? So I think when that trust is like, it always trusts. Well, who does it trust? Am I trusting that Cole's always going to, make me the happiest guy in the world? No. That would be stupid, right?
Yeah.
But we can always trust that God's got the best
Absolutely.
thing for us, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's like the trust is in God.
Yeah.
And the
It's really good.
supernatural part comes in when it's the compassion of the Lord. It's not human compassion.
Mm-hmm.
It's the compassion of the Lord, which you come in with wisdom. You can see the whole picture. You can see maybe what they're actually thinking or what their bent is going to be, and they might go a direction you don't like, but you're going to call out the best for them, because if you're truly loving them as Christ calls you to love, like those verses talk about, you're going to envision and pray that they're going to change their perspective. They're going to change their response, because it's possible.
Yep.
It's always possible,
Yes, come
right?
on. It's
Just
true.
because they've done XYZ several times, that doesn't mean
Yes.
that they can't change.
Yep.
Because your interaction with them might be what helps them see things differently.
Yeah.
Because as you're listening to Holy Spirit, he's gonna anoint your words.
Yeah.
He's gonna anoint the fact. The picture I just saw. I'm a crier. I cry really easily. When the Holy Spirit touches me, when His compassion touches me for somebody else, I feel things really deeply to the point where it's just ridiculous. But that kind of compassion, which isn't just mine, the Holy Spirit lands on it, might cause tears,
Yeah.
but He gave me a picture once of those tears breaking chains.
Yep. That's
So
awesome.
it's
Man.
powerful. right? So
Yes.
when you like when Eric interacts with this guy that drives him bananas, and there's a history, it's like, yeah, but we've been called to see him respond differently and to believe that he can, and to believe that what holds him I'm going to demonstrate what I do. What holds him in bondage could be broken.
Yeah.
And what if that's our assignment, to see it happen, to believe that it could, to the point that we cover him in our prayers, in our conversation, in the way we believe about him. Doesn't mean we go in going, it's all going to be great, but we believe that it could look different. And we know what God wants. What is his heart for that person?
Good word.
It is. She just, in like 4 minutes, said way better things than you said the whole time.
I know. That's why I married her.
It's amazing.
Takes a while.
Guys, man, Lisa, that is so good. Thank
good.
you. And I think it's a great place to wrap. Here's 2 things I would encourage you to do. Number 1, what relationship do you have that you need to focus on the why and you've been focusing on the what? Is there a space? Is there somebody in your life that you need to ask a better question about? Rather than asking why they're doing what they're doing or you need to ask the why rather than focus on what they're doing that makes you angry. And the second part to that is I would just go right off of what Lisa has, that what also might your assignment be with that person?
Right.
Like, what's your assignment with that person? Is it possible that you are in a divine appointment relationally with somebody that you have labeled a pain in your side, that they're actually meant to be your mission?
That's right.
That person is meant to be the chains you're supposed to break. They're the chains that are on their life. Maybe you're the one that has the authority to go after that. And so ask a why rather than a what. And what has God called you to do with that person? Guys, this was so great.
good.
I knew this would be good if we had Lisa come on.
Yeah, I know. Well, somebody had to
Paul.
drive her over here.
That's true.
That's true.
She did need a driver.
She
Thanks,
gets going.
Paul.
She's pretty good.
Pearsons, thank you guys. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Love you, Risen King. We will see you guys
all.
Sunday.